Hey guys, this is Isaac Johnson, and welcome to another episode of Schiff was right. Just kidding, it's the Daily Talk, and today's date is April 24th, 2019. I wanted to start off by saying thank you for the support from last video. I actually wasn't expecting to get any views, any likes, any dislikes, any comments, but I was wrong. We actually broke 40 views as I'm looking at it right now. So that makes me really happy. Thank you for the support. And I want to say thank you to the people who commented as well, specifically Lee Affin. I think he made a very solid point right there, and I actually hope that is the case. I really do. And then Kurt Cave, he misunderstood what I was talking about inflation. By inflation, I was talking about the inflation of prices, not the inflation of money. Which, it's a misunderstanding. I responded to the comment, but I want to say thank you for those comments, guys. It means a lot to me. So Schiff was right. Basically what he said in one of his podcasts, and he's kind of been saying it a bit, that Donald Trump is basically the Jimmy Carter of the Republicans, where Jimmy Carter was so bad that America went hard right and went to Ronald Reagan and produced a net positive. Well, what's happening here is that Donald Trump is the Jimmy Carter Republicans. He's basically an outsider. He was a businessman, just like how Jimmy Carter was. I think Jimmy Carter, he was a peanut farmer out of all things. And basically, people don't like Donald Trump. And what's happening is that the left, the Democrats, is taking a hard swing to the left. And it's actually really gross. This could be seen at the Democratic town halls that happened yesterday. And you could just see on how embarrassing, like Bernie Sanders is the front runner right now, and all the other Democratic candidates are following him except Andrew Yang. But basically, Bernie, he wants to support a new legislation where murderers, rapists, and even the Boston bomber could vote. He said this in an interview. Someone actually asked him a question, would he want the Boston bomber to vote? And Bernie said yes. Basically, Bernie wants prisoners to vote. And this actually shows on how crazy the left has become. Bernie Sanders, at least, and whoever agrees with him. Murderers, rapists, terrible crimes. They should not be allowed to vote. They should not be allowed to have a say on what the future of the country should be like. That's disgusting that Bernie would say that. And then you have people who are trying to out-left him. People who are trying to be harder to the left than him. A good example would be Camilla. She wants 16-year-olds to vote. She wants to lower the voting age, and that shouldn't happen. Camilla Harris, no, the voting age should not be lowered to 16. Those guys, they're not adults. They can't, their brains are not fully formed. In fact, I don't even think 18-year-olds should vote. I think the voting age should be aged at 21, like what Peter Schiff said. And I'm 19, and I'm willing to sacrifice my right to vote to produce more quality elections, okay? And this shows just how dangerous democracy can become and how dangerous democracy is. And I really hate it when I see these newscasters on CNN saying, oh, well, it's a democracy. Voting age should be lowered. Prisoners should be allowed to vote. No. Democracy is really dangerous. If you look in the past, democracies have not worked out. Good example being the Greek Empire. That fell tremendously bad due to herd mentality. Or mob mentality, my bad. Many people forget that the United States is a republic. Back when the Constitution was formed and when Benjamin Franklin walked out of the house in Philadelphia, everyone was asking, Benjamin, what kind of government are you going to give us? And Ben said, I gave you a republic if you could keep it. All right, if you could keep it. And that's from Peter Schiff. And basically what it is, a republic is where people could vote, but it's supposed to vote for representatives who could make smart choices for you, more intelligent people. Now what happened is that more and more people have been voting through the years, and more people have been trying to make democracy more common, I guess, or have more people allowed to vote, make democracy stronger, make mob mentality even stronger. And democracy, it's really dangerous. It's what got Hitler elected. Many people forget that Hitler was elected with everyone being happy. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that, one, we need the Electoral College. We need to have something to keep quality election results alive. Because right now it's not looking too good. Hasn't been looking good for the past few years. Has been looking good for the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. We had poor election results due to an increase in democracy, and lowering the voting age is going to make it that much worse. Letting prisoners vote is going to make it that much worse. And the whole point of having a republic is to have quality election results, and that hasn't been happening because of this brainwashing and saying that democracy is the right way, even though no, it's a republic. It's even the national anthem, not the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance. A pledge of allegiance to the flag and the republic, okay, of the United States. So it's dangerous, and a lot of people aren't realizing this. Anyway, let's talk about gold. Gold ended up at gold was up $7 from yesterday, so it ended up at 1247.57. Let me double check, actually. All I know is that it was up $2 from yesterday when we last checked. And JNUG had an increase of that, had a 5% increase. So if you bought yesterday, good on you. You made 5% profit. Let's continue on. Let's talk about Lyft, the crashing of Lyft. I believe ever since Lyft IPO'd, Lyft has been down 33%. And that's disgusting. That really shows on how quick the forever could die out when it comes to companies that aren't making money. And it could be very similar on what happens to Uber. It can mimic, at least. Lyft and Uber can mimic what Lyft has done with how fast it crashed. And in response to Kurt Cave's comment on my last video, what I was trying to say is that with the universal basic income and everyone getting $1,000 a month, people who weren't going to buy things, they're going to buy now. At the very least, America's bottom 60% are going to do that. And with America's bottom 60% ends up buying all these market goods, and law of supply and demand takes effect, prices go up in response. And then the question will be, does America have the resources to meet the demand for everything they want, to make sure this inflation in prices would not happen? I think Lee Effin made a good point in the comment last video, and again, I do hope that's the situation that happens, but you never know for sure. Maybe America is ready for it. Maybe we could continue to import from China, and China is ready for such a increase of demand when that happens on goods. Like I said in the last video, America's farming agriculture is outdated. It does need updating. And I don't know. Is Andrew Yang right? Is technology really advancing that fast? We'll find out. We'll see. Next 2 years, we'll see. I want to talk about the power stock of the week, McDonald's. McDonald's has been making some really good press recently, and they're making a lot of right moves. Just recently, McDonald's recently acquired a company that could give them a technological edge, and this could mean customers buying through the drive-thru. You know, there's no more drive-thru cashiers if that does go through, and the fact that front of the house employees could also be removed from buying stuff through computers, and I think that's great. You know, maybe Yang is right. Maybe this is coming faster than we thought. So that's actually really exciting. I'm actually really excited for these next few years. Hopefully the Democrats don't backstab Yang on how they backstabbed Bernie 2 years ago, because Yang doesn't seem to be left enough for them. Because Yang is actually really bringing the bridge between the right and the left, and the Democrats may not like that. You know, especially when Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, and all these other candidates swinging so hard to the left, they don't even know how to respond to questions anymore. At the CNN town hall, Pocahontas literally dodged every question, didn't bother answering one thing. She just said, "Oh, we'll talk about that." That's what she said as a response. Like, "Oh, do you think Do you think 16-year-olds should be allowed to vote? Oh, we're just going to talk about it. Or was it prisoners being allowed to vote? I don't know the question exactly. It was on the Ben Shapiro show, if you want to watch that. He explained it much better than I ever could. Anyway, back on the topic of McDonald's, they've been making good press. McDonald's is actually trying to hire older employees now, specifically age 50 and above, so they could take up morning shift slots. Because McDonald's has usually been struggling in morning shift areas because McDonald's is mostly composed of high schoolers and even college students who do go to school in the morning. So all these things McDonald's are doing is a lot of good press. They have been going up tremendously recently. Let me pull up the chart. In the past month, they went up 6%, and to be a almost $200 stock, 6% is pretty big for just 1 month of growth. So McDonald's has been doing it right, as always. And it's really exciting to see. I went to Taco Bell recently by my house, and they actually had the brand new computers inside where you could order through the computers instead of going through the cashier. And I kind of felt bad walking in there because the cashier pointed to the computers and said, you could order through that if you want. And, I kind of felt bad. So instead of buying through that, I ordered through the cashier, knowing that her job will most likely be lost very soon. Anyway, that's what I want to talk about. Peter Schiff was basically right. He said the Democrats will have the most hardest swing left imaginable. Instead of producing a net positive, it could very well be a net negative. And that's what happened in the CNN town hall with Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, and even Pete, good old Pete. So I'm going to put a link in the description to the Ben Shapiro episode where he talked about it. He could do it way better than I could. And I just want to say thank you for listening and have a good day.